the body of work that I put in as a player is going to help me as a person. And if I just carry that same work ethic, I can do anything I want to.
I wish somebody told me this while I was playing. Treating yourself as a business.
All you got to do is just pay attention and show up before everybody else and put in the extra work, and you will beat mostly everybody that you're going against. Look at life as a game. If you can look at it how to beat the game, then you'll always be successful, because you're always looking for those little challenges to test you to become better. Once you have the confidence to do what you need to do, everything else is pretty much secondary. Those little detailed things is what makes you have big results. The discipline aspect of that and just the hard work is really just hard work. You just got to keep going. One foot in front of the other. Live in the moment, embrace the moment, be happy with the moment.
Welcome back to the Keep It a Bug podcast. We got a special guest with us today, 8-year NFL vet, a mentor of mine, an owner, investor, and also the head coach at JAA, which is academy here in Jacksonville. My dog, my friend, my homie, Nolan Carroll.
What's up,
welcome to the pod.
Appreciate you coming, guys.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate that mentor part, man. You know,
yes, sir.
You don't think of it like that. I don't think about it like that. I just mean it's cool though.
It's a big deal.
It is cool.
You know, and I say that because there was so many nuggets. I actually met you for the first time at ET camp. You remember that? This is going back probably about 6-7 years ago.
That's right.
Met you at the camp. And you always gave a good vibe, bro. Good energy. Anything I needed, I can ask. You gave it. The gyms really stood out as a young guy in the league. And I always wanted to thank you and give you your flowers for that, bro.
Oh, I appreciate that.
That.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate you, bro. Hey, shoot. Most time, the crazy thing about it, and you know this, as you get older and you become the vet, like you teach the young guys. And I was always taught by older guys. And when I was in Miami, they taught me the way off the field, not on the field, but off the field. And that always stuck with me. And I always wanted to just give it back, man. And even if you play longer than me, you play 15 years, hey, I'm going to clap it up. You know, if you play 5, at least I can help you within that 5 that you remember some type of message. So it's always just something I always wanted to do, give back. And these vets that taught me, I just always stuck in my mind to do.
Nice. All right. Nice. So we're going to jump right into this one. We're not even going to play around. We're going to jump right in. All right. A lot of people have been waiting and anticipating this EP, Nolan. They anticipate it. So we want to know.
All right.
So I jump in. The first one I would say, a question I want to know is, what was the toughest transition for you playing and after the league?
Yeah, I think the toughest transition playing, coming from college to, from college to the NFL, I think was adjusting to the routine, like the schedule, the speed, understanding it's not just the school that you play for. I mean, this is your job now. And when you see guys get cut, when guys are in the locker room one day and they're not in the locker room the next day because of performance, you start understanding I got to prepare better. I got to get up earlier. I got to get to meetings. I got to ask my coach more questions so I can prepare and practice. I got to treat practice like it's a game more intensely. And those little things, you start to find out how to become a pro. And most guys, when you're in college, and you've seen this because you played at Florida, athletic talent only takes you so far. And then when you get into an NFL locker room, if you're not preparing right, you're going to get left behind, because there's always going to be a guy that's going to always outwork you if you're not working. And that's one of the things that I learned very fast, is because when we were in Miami, Jeff Ireland, who was the GM at the time, he didn't play, man. I mean, let you have a bad game, you're going to get cut. I mean, let you have a bad game. He's bringing in 14 other corners just so you could see on a Wednesday who's coming in. Yep. And when you start seeing that, no, they don't see it at all. They just see the glory stuff. But when you're in it, as long as I was in it, you see it and you start understanding, all right, this is how I need to become a pro. This is how I need to become a pro in my 3rd year, my 4th year, my 5th, my 8th. And as you get older and you start seeing it that way, you look back and you start understanding, all right, I got to treat myself like a business from start to finish. There's many experiences that you learn as a young guy, and there's many experiences that you learn when you get older. And, you know, all those experiences that I had for 8 years, it allowed me to transition the right way when I got out. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all, because for me, when I got released by Dallas, it was really trying to figure out, do I still stay in? Because I'm in year 8 right now. Do I stay in and try and play another 4 more years to get to 12 maybe? Or do I start figuring out, all right, I got to be a dad. My son at the time, he was going to be, I think he was 4 or 5 years old. So it's a decision, do I make? Do I become a full-time dad? And if I do, what do I find that's going to help me be who Nolan Carroll is? Not the football player, but Nolan Carroll. And the great thing about it was my mom, seeing her transition from the Navy, she was in the Navy for 20 years, and then go into politics right after that, I felt more confident with myself when I did transition. Hey, this is the way you need to do it. When you get out, understand that what you did is not who you are. And then when you go into something else, you got to go into it as the person, not attaching that identity. Most people want to go from thing to thing and use the titles to get them elevated.
Right.
You got to use your name as that. And, when I was transitioning, I accepted it. I understood, and I look back, I had gratitude with this. I played in NFL for 8 years. I played in over 100 games. I played against some of the best guys that you could play against. And it wasn't like a couple snaps I played against Des Bryant. No, I was matched up on Des Bryant. Like I got mossed by Des Bryant. Like I can say that, but I also made plays.
Yes, sir.
Right.
So looking back and seeing the matchups, going against Brady, going against freaking Brett Favre, going against, I said Brady already. I mean, Phillip Rivers, I could name a whole bunch of guys that are going in the Hall of Fame. And to make plays against them and to get contracts that I did, I got 4 different contracts. So looking at that, I said, I did what I was supposed to do. If anything, I exceeded expectations because every year it was, Nolan's got to get cut. Nolan's got to get traded. And every year I'm still on the same team. So obviously I did something right. And me accepting that and understanding that I did everything necessary to become a pro and say that I was a pro in the NFL, I was able to respect myself to transition to the next thing and say that, look, the body of work that I put in as a player is going to help me as a person. And if I just carry that same work ethic, I can do anything I want to. Right. And that was the freedom that gave me the opportunities to just try different things, understanding going into business. All right, if I'm going to go into business, what are the things that I learned in football that's going to help me? Well, obviously it's being a leader. How do you motivate others around you? And slowly as you get older, you start getting out your comfort zone. Cause I was a guy that was really in my comfort zone. Like get in the locker room, you work out, you don't say much. You say much to your close buddies, the DBs and stuff, a couple other guys outside of that. But I was always inside. Like I was always to myself mostly. It was a business for me. But then when I got out, I understood I got to be more out there. I got to let people know who I am. And getting out of that comfort shell was kind of hard. But once I got used to it, a couple years after, I started understanding I am Nolan Carroll. I'm not the football player. Everybody else associates me as a football player, but I know who I am. And when I have conversations, I let people know first I'm Nolan Carroll. And then they so happen to say, oh, you're the football player. Yeah, I am. But I also do this. Right. And that opens the door up for them to understand you as a person and hopefully as a brand too, to help you get connections, open the door to something else. So for me, I won't say it was easy, but understanding what I did in the NFL early on and how I developed myself and how I was able to get help allowed me to transition easier than most other guys that have a rough time doing it once it stops.
Yeah. And we talk about that
Boy, that's
a lot.
Transition talk. That's my talk.
It's hard. It's hard.
I would say your transition was way more smoother than mine. And you say this, and I wish somebody told me this while I was playing. Treating yourself as a business.
Yeah.
I never knew how to do that. And maybe that comes with having 8 years in or the experience and learning from probably older guys, right? Mine's got cut short going into my 5th year and tearing my quad. So being released for the first time in my life, like I took that kind of personal, right? I done started a few years, I'm feeling good. Whoa, you see what I'm saying? I'm due to hit a bonus and I'm like, whoa, cut? Like, so I do think people take that personal and it does affect their career, right? When you treat it like a business, it's like, okay, what's the next move? What are we doing next? Okay. I appreciate the opportunity. What's next? Now with that, you done gotten to a lot of things outside of ball. You're now mentoring a lot of other young kids at JAA, right? What does being a head coach now, because this is a whole different end of it. You're no longer being recruited. You done played 8 years in the league, pretty successful as a owner. And now being a head coach, what does that transition look like?
Yeah, it's definitely different because now I have to come from a perspective of I have to have empathy because my dad said this, you're coming back from the place that they want to go. And I have to be compassionate enough to understand you guys don't know it fully yet, but you act like you know it, like just like every 18-year-old. And when 17, I'm teaching them things, 17, 18, 50, you're right, probably 12. I go down to 12. But for me, I can't treat them. I can treat them like pros, but I have to teach them like they're not. And it's hard to find that balance because there's times where I get frustrated because, as you know, when we're at walkthroughs, it's almost like fast paced. But when we're doing walkthroughs now, these guys are joking around. Some guys got their phones and I'm just like, you can't do that here. Because if you were to go to Florida State, Florida, do you think you'd bring your phone out to a walkthrough? They'll cut you.
Not at all.
They'll bring somebody else.
Hold on, that just hit me. 100%. Phone to the walkthrough? It's
crazy.
Phone.
Like looking at it?
It's crazy.
Phone to the walkthrough.
That's wild.
And it's like, you let them know you can't do that. And they're like, oh, coach, I'm going to turn it on Saturday. No, it don't work like that. It's Monday through Friday. and then Saturday you perform. But they don't, for some reason, I blame social media because they're looking at the end product, and you can't get mad at the kids that don't know what they don't know because they only see one thing. They see the NFL guys, they see the NIL guys, and they think that's how everybody is. Just like we thought when we were looking at guys in the league, like, oh, everybody's like this. And then when we get to the league, it's like, oh, it ain't really like that. So you got to show them exactly what they need to do. So I have to remind myself past experiences when I was younger. All right, this is how you need to prepare. This is how you need to study, instead of, hey, why are you not doing that? Why are you not doing this? It's more of, let me show you how to do it first and let me stay on you. And you have to. They're babies. They're kids. And, I have to remind myself I'm not a player anymore. So I can't come from a player's perspective and say, hey, you got to get it together. I can't get on them because the first thing I do know about kids is they're not tough. They're just not.
This the cap era.
Yes.
Big cap era.
Big cap. I mean, cowboy hat cap. Like, it's bad. And when you get on them, it's not like I'm getting on you saying you're a bad player. I'm getting on you because you need to get this right. And they're kind of like, oh, coach don't like me no more. No, coach, I still love you, but this is what you have to do if you want to get on the field. And they don't understand the two. And it's that where I have to pull them to the side and say, hey, look, I care about you, but you're not going to last long in football in general if you don't do it this way. This is the way we need you to do it. And from time, every day, actually, I got to remind myself, these are kids. This is how you have to coach them. This is how you have to stay on them. And the more you do it, the more I begin to get less intense, I guess, from a perspective of a coaching standpoint, because now I see it from a bird's eye view, as opposed to my first year. I just wanted everything done the right way instantaneously. And that's what frustrated me the most, because they just weren't doing it that way. So for me, understanding the business and understanding the player side really benefits me, because I'll tell them about the business, but then I'll also tell them how to be a player. But if they can't match the two, I'll try and teach them. But then if they're just hard-headed to not get it, then you let them learn the hard way. Right. And when they learn the hard way, just like a parent teaching a kid, they'll come to you and say, all right, I'll do it your way now. So it's like, I've learned empathy and I've learned patience over these last 5 years to show these kids actually what to do. And the ones that listen, those kids, we got 17 guys that are D1 guys right now.
I say all the time,
So it's like, if you listen, you're better than half the other guys in the nation. Even guys that are in D1, D2 schools, all you got to do is just pay attention and show up before everybody else and put in the extra work, and you will beat mostly everybody that you're going against, because nobody's working like that, like they used to. It's all about entitlement. So we just teach them from that perspective. And I come from it from that perspective, just so they know that when you do come to JA, this is what you're getting. And we're trying to give you the cheat code to football and life. If we can teach you how to do both, how to be a brand, how to be a person, how to be somebody in the community that lifts others up, and also learn how to be a football player, you can never lose. It's just impossible to lose.
Right. I always say the right way is a process.
Exactly.
Right. The right way is a process. It'll never be as immediate as kids now. And I'll be honest, kids back then too, we wanted it quicker than normal. But at the end of the day, like you just alluded to, once you show somebody that doing it the right way is doing it every day and being persistent, then they have to get to the point where it's, oh, you know what? My way doesn't work. Yeah. They don't get to my way doesn't work if you stop.
Yeah.
If you stop as a coach, if you stop as a mentor, if you stop, as an influence and you give up, they don't get to that point where they say, oh, now I got to listen to Josh. Now I got to listen to Nolan. Now I got to listen to Jarvis. They don't get there. So it really is on, for all those coaches who say, these kids are difficult or whatnot, the right way is a process.
Yeah. And that's the other part too, it's the coaches that are not reinforcing a lot of those things like they used to. Our coaches used to be on us, and I'm pretty sure your coaches used to be on you as well, where it was, man, I'm tired of hearing his mouth, but deep down inside, he's right.
Facts. Always that but.
It's always. Yeah. But nowadays, the coaches are, he's not coachable. It's your job to coach him. It's your job to find a way to coach him, and that's what we're missing, and they're not being educated enough, though. So I used to be mad at the coaches, but now I understand, and I'm telling them this, they have to go out and find better ways to coach. Like, they have to go and listen to videos. They have to go to seminars. That is the only way you're going to get better. Because my coaches, they were like 3 or 4 white guys, probably 5'5", all of them. And they're trying to teach me how to play receiver.
Come on.
They taught me how to play it great enough to get D1 scholarships. And that was all they had to do. They didn't have to do anything extra. They didn't have to be like Nick Saban. They didn't have to be like Bill Belichick. They just had to be them and show me what I needed to do. It's the age old, what I tell my guys, you're already a Bentley. I just want to put 4 Giottos on you. That's it.
Yeah.
I just want you to look pretty out there. I'm not trying to change your engine. I'm not trying to change your body style. You're already an athlete. Let me make you look good on the field, which is your film and your resume. And that's what my coaches did. And they'll never come back and say, hey, I'm the one that made you. It's like, hey, look, you worked hard. You did everything we told you to do, and you're successful. And that's the same thing. If we can just get back to that, all this craziness, the circus that's going on with, let me get a deal here, or if you ain't paying me this, then I ain't going here, or let me get as many offers to show on Instagram, all that stuff will be cut away. If the coaches, the high school coaches, get back to just being who they need to be for the kids first, not for them and the titles.
And you keep that persistency up, like, again, in similar fashion, you also see that kids will realize when a coach is getting on to me or a parent is getting on to me, they're being mean. They don't like me. Again, the more persistent you are as the mentor, as the adult, as the mature one, you keep going, they start to realize the ones that are talking to me care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The ones that keep on with the conversation, they are annoying. They care. Then you start thinking about family members. Then you start thinking about, your family that's been getting on you all this time about XYZ. It's like, dog, leave me alone. And then, but if you stop and you go, I'm just going to leave them alone. And I've been guilty of it sometimes too. I got a 14-year-old. Sometimes I leave him alone, but I'm like, I can't. Yeah. Because the minute I do, he won't understand and realize and see one day when he's 17, oh, this was my dad was talking about. This is what he was talking about when he said, shut up in line when you are in drills. Yeah. Don't be the one talking. Like, I want to talk to my boy. And it's like true story. Like, and then you start seeing all these kids that's talking, and it's like, they're the ones that's messing up. And it's like, okay, let me get to the front. They have to figure that out on their own. Yeah. A lot of parents want to be able to tell their kids, this is how it's done. No one's going to learn that way.
Exactly.
No one's going to learn that way. A doggone astronaut cannot come in here and literally tell us how it is in space. Facts. We got to go learn that.
Exactly.
Facts.
Exactly.
Facts. Wow. Speaking of, I feel like there's so many correlations with the game of football and life. And we talk a lot about that on the show. And one of my toughest transitions was learning how to love myself. Yeah. I feel like this game, you give so much to the fans, to social media, to coaches, to family, that there's nothing in the tank for us at the end. Yeah. Literally. And if you got kids, everybody comes before you. I remember when I was in Washington and I'm like, I'm getting another opportunity. Got released from Jacksonville, got picked up from Washington, and I just wasn't happy. I'm here. I'm making good money at the time. I'm doing more successful than my friends. Like, I can help, but I just wasn't happy. Yeah. And to be honest, after I got released, after I got hurt, I went through that down period when I struggled with my anxiety, depression, and things I went through. But the biggest aspect was I feel like I played this game relying off the validation of friends, family, and coaches, right? When that entertainment is gone, who's there for you?
Exactly.
Right? When nobody's chanting for you, hey, good tackle, good play. And I feel like I dwell too much on that. Like, damn, I'm giving myself to people. I had to really lock in and say, I choose me, right? Being out the league now, how many years it's been?
Dang.
It's been a little minute now.
I think it's 6. I retired in 2018, so it's been 6. Yeah, 6 years.
Being 6 years out the league now, what can you say the NFL has taught you about life?
It's really what you just said. You got to love yourself, and we do it, but we don't do it. It's weird. Like, before a game, you're telling yourself, hey, I'm about to make a play. I'm about to get locked in. I'm about to do this. When you wake up in the morning and get ready to go to a facility, like, you tell yourself those things, but you don't really say, I love yourself. Like, I love Nolan. Like, you don't do that. You just try and get your mind right to get ready for the day. And what ends up happening, a lot of guys, and I was like this, when I got released from Dallas, I was kind of pissed at first. I'm just like, man, it was weird. Like, how all that stuff was going on upstairs wasn't anything with me, but I felt like you guys didn't let me do what I needed to do. So I was pissed a little bit, but the thing is, guys will hold on to that anger. Like, they'll hold on to it years after. And that's the thing that you don't want. Like I said, you have to remind yourself all the things that I've accomplished. Like, that's where you really begin to understand how to transition, is knowing that there's nothing that you could have changed at the time. You're year one. There's nothing, you would like to do things better, but would you change that experience now? No, you would not, because you learned so much in that first year that helped you in the second year. Year 2 helped you in year 6. And if you understand those things, you're never going to look at it as, man, F the Jags, or man, F the Redskins. Like, you won't look at it that way anymore. Like, I see so many of my boys, they're talking about when they got released and how they still hate the organization. It's like, The organization don't care.
Really don't.
They really don't care.
Small fraction.
Yeah, so it's like
small fraction.
You better get on that alumni list and try and go to some games and get back. Like guys don't put that together, and it kind of lets them. You do lose your identity because you put it so much into it, and you got so many people that it comes to this. Every single week you've been so used to the euphoria of coming out of the stadium, playing in front of the fans, posting on Instagram, getting likes, having people in your DMs telling you great job. Yeah, you on top. So you're just like, oh, this is me.
Right.
And then all of a sudden when you don't have those pictures anymore to post, you don't have those experiences to talk about anymore, you're like, all right, who am I really? And that's the part where when you're in the locker room, you have to do that for yourself. Like there's a way that you do it, but you have to be aware of it. It's all about awareness. As you know, 4th and 1, you have to be aware of what's going to be coming.
Facts.
When you're in the red zone, you have to be aware. That's just your thought process. And I think the thing that helped me when I did get out the league and when I was released and, I wasn't getting the same attention I was again, was understanding, all right, I was getting this attention because of the things that I did that resulted into the success, the plays, the deals, the pictures. Like that was me. The work that I put behind the scenes was me. I did that. That's the reason why people are around me. Now I have to understand, all right, they're not around anymore because I don't do that anymore. So now I got to figure out something else that's going to make me better so I can get the results similar to what that is. And that's once you remind yourself that way and understand I have these skills of confidence, I have these skills of perseverance, I have these skills of leadership. All those things allowed me to make plays on Sunday. Yeah. All those things allowed me to make plays on Monday. Why I got my Nike deal, why I was able to walk in Fashion Week, why I was able to get Essential Water was because of the 3 a.m.s that I woke up and I did drills outside of my front yard. Like if you get back to the simplest form of who you were at the time when you were playing, you understand who you need to be for yourself and not attach it to, I'm a football player, now I don't know what else to do. So that's what I did. And I would say it almost took a year for me to really like, all right, I'm back to who I am. Because before, when you do get released, you have some workouts, team have some interest. And, it was like that. I had 4 workouts. It was New Orleans, Washington, Buffalo, and Houston. And Cleveland. So I'm like, all right, somebody's going to sign me. Right. And I'm balling. Like I'm working out. I was with New Orleans and I had they brought in like 6 other young guys and I'm crushing them. Right. I'm like, oh. I'm talking to Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn's like, oh, you 31, you moving like that? I'm thinking, I'm getting signed. Right. Like, yeah, we're not going to sign you, man, because we want to go with the youngest. I'm like, all right, Dad, whatever. Go to Washington.
That price tag go up a little bit now.
It was up there. It was a mill.
Yeah, that price tag go up.
It was up there. Now I go to Washington, crush it again. Yeah, we're not going to sign. We're going to youngest. I was like, all right, that's 2. Houston hits me up. Yeah, we just want to bring him in for a workout. We ain't gonna sign him. I ain't coming.
Come on, wasting my time.
I'm not coming. I'm not getting on that plane. Buffalo's like, next week we want you to come up, but we're not gonna sign you. We just want to see you move. I done worked out twice already. I don't need to work out no more. Right. Y'all tripping. And that's when I started realizing, all right, I'm good. Like I started realizing, all right, I'm Nolan Carroll. Like I had all these workouts. Obviously it didn't. And then Cleveland came and saw me. Cleveland worked me out at my house. So that was when I was like, if y'all don't sign me, I'm good. Because now I'm at peace with everything. I know what I've accomplished. I know what I've done. Right. And to still have a year later, this wasn't like 2 months later. This was a year later where I was getting workouts. I was like, I'm still hot, but y'all don't want me because of this. It was more of my concussions. It wasn't because I couldn't play. Right. So I was just like, you know what? I'm good. I can do something else. I'm at peace with it. And that's the thing that you just got to wrestle with. You have to be willing to wrestle with that. And if you're just trying to run away from it, you're always going to run away from it, trying to be something else that you're not. Instead of just going ahead and attacking it like we always have been used to doing because we're warriors, we're gladiators out there. And when you have that mindset to do it, it's hard, but you know it's hard and it makes it easier because you know what you're attacking. If you don't know what you're attacking, it just makes the process a lot harder. So for me, man, like I said, it was tough, but finding those things and reminding myself just the little details to get me to this arena now that I'm in, it all started with the stuff that nobody's really paying attention to. All the work that I put in is what's leading to what I have now.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I was going to say how many people receive that. So, a lot of people can say, Nolan Carroll, you played in the league. Mm-hmm. So, we know some people may know it as more money, more problems. Some people know it as, you're set up already. And so it's easy for you to get past it, but they don't understand your mind is your mind, right? Yeah. Like it does not matter if you're rich and successful. It doesn't matter if you're a former president. It doesn't matter if you're Tom Brady. It don't matter if you were third on the bench. It doesn't matter if you're us. Like it's your mind is your mind. And so you said it took you a year to mentally, I guess a year physically to accept, okay, you know, this is not it.
Yeah.
Mentally, how were you? Because you also stated you had concussions, right? And so there's a little bit of a health, you know, situation there too, you know, to look out for. Mentally, for somebody that is at the top of their game, but, you know, something by nature has taken them out of it and they have to understand, you can't do it no more. For instance, if there's a big time athlete that's better than everybody else, but he just can't, the ACLs just keep popping. You know what I'm saying? And they're done. Yeah. You know, that transition for a kid is the hardest thing because like you said, that's their identity. They've been, you know, running the show. They've been running everything, you know, in front of people for a long time. My question to you is, how do you talk to that one? That kid that's like, hey, you know, you are more talented than everybody else and you're even doing it the right way, but God don't have this in your plans right now, you know, and you need to shift gears, transition, and go on. How do you get through to that kid?
Yeah, I've got a lot of guys that have messaged me that. Some guys that are playing now, they're on their tail end of their careers. They're even asking me, hey, what's it like on the other side? It's crazy that they don't really know. Like, when we were playing, we didn't know either. It's just like you see a guy and the next day you don't see him and you're just like, man, I wonder what it's like on the other side. And the best thing that I can tell them is to understand, know who you are first. Like, go back and just list your accomplishments. Don't be scared to list down exactly what you've done. And some guys, they tend to not do it because they've always been hearing it's about the team. It's about the team. Right. So you tend to push your individual success off to the side and you forget about it because it's always the team. Every single day, it's the team. The minute you don't think about the team, now you're selfish. That's what we've heard. And what I'd let guys know is write down the things that you've accomplished from the time you got into college to now. Like, what things helped you get into the league? What things helped you stay in the league? And understand, regardless of whatever injuries that you've had, the best thing to do is remind yourself of how great you used to be. Meaning, it's unfortunate you had those injuries because I broke my leg 3 times. So I've been through that and I understand, and I had to remind myself, these are the things that I did. And this is the things that's going to get me back to where I need to be the person I need to be. And when I just explained to them, once you see your list, go ahead and go over it all the time. It's going to get you more confident in who you are as a person, not the player. If you're looking at it from the perspective of, man, I was this player, but I had all these injuries, well, then you're not going to really value yourself as a player. If somebody's trying to introduce you as this big time, whatever, you're in your mind, you're going to think, man, I had all these injuries. I wasn't the player I could have been. And that's the thing I struggle with a little bit too, because it was always that, man, if Nolan didn't get hurt, he could have done this. But I was already balling before that. It's just the what if is always playing in your mind, man. What if I didn't get hurt? Where would I be? And you have to tell them it's not what if, it happened to you. Now you have to understand why it happened to you and you have to get better from it. Look at it as a challenge. Look at it as a game. That's what I say. Look at life as a game. If you can look at it, how to beat the game, then you'll always be successful because you're always looking for those little challenges to test you to become better. And if you don't know who you are, use that first. Do that list. Start with it. Remind yourself. And it's not just football, guys. It's everybody. Like, if you can go through that and understand and look at it and read it, it's more about gratitude than anything else. You're grateful for the things that you've accomplished. And that allows you to remind yourself, I can do whatever I need to do next to be successful because I've already done this before. So when I'm talking to guys, I always let them know. And it's pretty much, it's guys that have big contracts. It's guys that are 10, 12 years in. There's guys that Pro Bowlers and they're still, what do I do? Yeah. Or how is it like? And I just let them know, look, man, you got everything set up for you on the other side because you've done exactly what you need to do while you were playing. You ain't got to worry about coming out and being lost. You're not going to you'll be lost for a little bit, but if you do these things, you're going to figure it out very fast and you're going to enjoy what you're doing after retirement. So that's what I just try to tell those guys, even my guys that are in college that are hurt and, they're not going to get another opportunity to play later on and they're still young. They're 20 years old. They don't know what to do. You remind them the same thing. You let them know, hey, you were able to play college football. A lot of people in your family weren't able to do that. A lot of your friends weren't able to do that. It's a small percentage. It's like 5%.
Nobody was able to do that.
Yeah, that's facts.
So when you break it down for them that way, they understand, all right, yes, I do have the power to remind myself of who I am and what I need to be. And it's just a confidence thing. Once you have the confidence to do what you need to do, everything else is pretty much secondary.
Yeah, Josh left the league and he was like, "We're gonna start this podcast," and so that's why I was like, "Duh!" Like, you know, like, come on, let's go.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying for you having the injuries that you did, and I know it sucked because you're just like, man, I could have been here. Like you always compare your old self to your future self, which is weird because that future self is no longer. So you're always holding on to that, and guys get caught in that little circle. And I've seen it with guys now still. They just stay in there, and you miss life after. Like you miss certain things in life. You miss time. You miss opportunities instead of just, all right, I did what only 1% of people could do.
That's facts.
Every single year, only 1% of people could do what I do. That's an exclusive club in itself. And then looking at it, if I did what the 1% did, then I'm pretty sure when I get out the league, I can do what the 1% are doing now. Right. It's how you speak to yourself every day. It's really what it comes down to. And
I think a lot of these people got to understand that playing in the NFL is an honor and a privilege, right? Yes. This ain't something that everybody, like you said, the 1%, exactly. You know, everybody they don't get to experience this.
Exactly.
I'm gonna keep it a whole buck. I knew I was overballed, bro, when I tried to get back after the injury and played in that little AAF league. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, y'all forgot about that because it lasts about 8 weeks, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it a whole buck. Oh, this the honor and privilege of playing in a league that's different than these little leagues, these little startup leagues. So I'm like, all right, my family like, hey man, you know, you might want to give it a shot, you know, see if you can get back in. So a part of me didn't want to do it. I just opened up a gym at the time. I'm kind of getting adjusted to like entrepreneurship and whatnot. So I'm like, all right, you know, I do it. I'm still feeling good. I'm still in shape. You know what I mean? I'm 25, 26 at the time. Yeah, I'm still young. I could do it, get back in. Cool. So we fly out to Austin, Texas, bro. We had camp out there. Off rip, day one, we go to grab our stuff and we in like a little lobby and my jersey on like a chair. You know what I mean? There's no lockers, bro. I said, whoa.
Oh, man.
My loop is on the chair, my helmet underneath the chair. I said, wow, like, this is humbling. You know what I'm saying? Like this
high school.
Yeah, this is different. Like I'm really back in high school. Like, you know, damn, it's different. So I'm trying to be humble because there's like probably 4 or 5 other guys who played in the league. So we all making the face like, you know what I mean? We looking like, damn, if this it, I know the food ain't good.
Exactly,
you see what I'm saying?
It's crazy how you think, man. It's crazy how we spoiled, man.
You getting out the mud, but I'm like, damn, like let me take it back to Irvington, Josh. Like you're not, you know, Josh, you wasn't, you know, raised in the league, right? So I'm like, okay, let me be chill. So I'm cool. So we go out there, go through our little walkthrough, practice and whatnot. Come through. I remember asking one of the equipment managers, hey, can I get an extra pair of socks? And he's like,
What he said?
He's like, we just had enough socks. So I'm like, all right, what about the gloves? Do we got? Nah. I said, oh, this shit different.
Oh, no.
You see what I'm saying? This different. This really ain't the league. The league, you can go ask for what you want. Gloves, you got a Nike deal.
Oh, man.
Different type of face mask is custom. This, you getting it out the mud.
You got to go to Academy Sports.
And dead ass. I went to Dick's a few times. Pause, big pause. Hey, and grab some cleats. It's crazy. Crazy work. But I had to realize it was different. You see what I'm saying? And I'm here making the faces, but I'm also looking at the guy who never got an opportunity. And he's loving it. You see what I'm saying? He like, man, if I could do this, and it was just like, Josh, what you doing? Yeah. But at that moment I realized, dog, I'm over this shit. Like, you see what I'm saying? I can't do this. One year you get spoiled, you play in the league and you're so used to kind of having what you want. But at this point it's like, well, what am I doing it for? Like, am I doing it because I want to play again? Or am I doing it because I want to make my family and friends happy again? Exactly. Bro, the league lasted probably 6, 7, 8 weeks of playing and shut down literally in the middle towards like the last game.
Yeah, I do remember.
Play games. We're in meetings and you can see the coaches kind of looking around. I don't even think nobody know this story, bro. We're in meetings. The coaches, we just had practice. The coach is kind of looking around. There's like little rumors, people phones going off. So I'm like, what's going on? Coach walked out. Steve Spurrier walked out, came back in and was like, yeah, fellas, they just canceled the league. I said, bro, I'm over this shit, bro. They said it like that? Just like the league ended. People were stuck in Arizona at hotels, bro. It was real, bro. People couldn't get flight homes. The league ended. It ended just like that.
Do you wish you still like participated?
No. Not at all.
Because you got exposed.
It was a waste of time.
Though.
You said like it really, because I knew my heart wasn't into it at this point. Like I wasn't driven. I really was. I really was kind of like, maybe this kind of get me back in, but I kind of felt like, do I even really want to get back in? Like I'm kind of cool where I'm at now. But this brings me to my next question, right? I got a young nephew, Phoenix Evans, shout out. Just got a big offer from Tennessee, by the way. I think that's his 15-16-0, right? Congrats, my guy. And he watched a lot of ball. Mm-hmm. He's getting serious into it. Going to probably be the next, I guess, Evans, if you will, to, be the next one in the family that had this opportunity. Mm-hmm. Can you tell him the preparation and all that it takes, let's use a guy like, oh, you had OBJ in his prime.
I did.
Prime.
I did.
OBJ.
I did.
And you strapped him.
I did.
Strapped him.
I love OB. I love him.
Yeah, great guy.
He's a
great
good
guy.
Dude, good dude.
What does the preparation look like during that week on how you follow a guy like that during the game?
All right. So Sunday night, if they're playing prime time, normally they were, I'd watch his game, watch how their number one was following him. I just use the example when they were playing Minnesota and Xavier Rhodes was following him. What's Xavier Rhodes doing? How's he following? Is he playing inside leverage? He's taking away the slant. Are they having help? Is he getting doubled? I'll look at that just to give an overview. Then I'll watch 4 games. The 4 games I'll watch is all targets on him. And I'll see what Eli is doing with him. Where is he on the right? Where is he on the left? How is his release? It got down to the point where I understood when Odell was running his fades when he would cross his hands and put it on his knees. Because he would understand if you did that, it looks like, all right, it's probably a run play because most receivers don't do that. He started doing that to trick guys and he would run his fade. So I saw it. I'm like, all right, cool. If you do that, I already know what's happening. And I already look back. Malcolm would know it too. So it wasn't like we didn't know what was going on. But it's those little detailed things you find because you already know he's a great athlete. You just got to have the right game plans. It's not just game plan. It's game plan. So you have the real game plan, which is you're strapping it. You're playing man to man. You're going to have opportunities where you get doubles. But most of the time, you're going to be by yourself because the defense has to get after Eli. Because you get after Eli, it don't matter who's out there. Be random. It don't matter who it is. As long as you're getting after Eli, and that's the one game plan. The next game plan is when I line up, if he's in the slot, what do I do? If he's outside the numbers, what do I do? If he gets on the numbers, what do I do? It's all these different game plans you need. And for me, that's the first 48 hours. That's not even the whole week. And then when you get in the first down, you start seeing, all right, what are they trying to do on first down? They're trying to go quick game. They're trying to go deep. They're trying to do post, like they're trying to move them in motion. They're trying to get them in the slot. And I just remember it was 2016. And I tried to tell my guys this, but they ain't listen to me. It's all good. I tried to tell them, I said, look, if Odell's on the outside and they motion him across the formation, he's running a slant. That's all he's running. He ain't running nothing else. Right. And if you look at Eli's leg, if his right leg is back and his left leg is up, it's quick game slant all the time.
The details, fellas.
And I'm like,
details.
Look, I'm not going to say the corners are, I don't say it off air, but I'm just like, hey, you're going to get a slant. I'm telling before the first drive, I said, look, you're going to get a slant because he's going to be away from me. Right. He ain't listen. Went for 60.
Believe it.
Went for 60. Oh, for real. Went for 60. So I'm like, all right, it's already going to be a long day because you gave Eli confidence. So it happened again. Third quarter.
No way he did it again.
I peeked inside. Sterling Shepard, they were in the slot. He motioned. I said, slant coming. You could have run anything else and probably got a touchdown. I said, the slant's coming because I believed in myself from the preparation early in the week because I saw it on the game, but they didn't throw the slant before. They were playing in cover 4 against Minnesota. But just using that example of it's not necessarily about the player. It's what he does and what you can take away. And then you play within the scheme. So it's not like, all right, how am I going to stop him? How am I going to stop him? It's more of what is he doing here? What is he doing in 12 personnel? What is he doing in 11 personnel? What is the quarterback trying to do? What's the coordinator trying to do? And then from there, what is my coverage? What can I do to stop him? Or what can I do to slow him down? And having those little game plans and those battles, obviously he's going to win some. But the thing you have to understand is let me continue to prepare. Let me continue to execute and know my job. If he gets his plays, so what? He gets his plays. But at the end of the day, if I prepare the right way and I have confidence in myself, I'll line up against anybody. Like that was my mentality because I had coaches that were guys that broke it down for me. I had Al Harris. People don't know this. I played with Al Harris in Miami. Yeah. And then
Big fan Al Harris.
Yeah, he's my guy. And then he became my coach in 2012. So I learned so much about press because on Thursdays, he used to just take me upstairs and we would literally just watch the release. We wouldn't even watch the whole route, just the release. And he'd go to the next play, release, go to the next play, release, go to the next play. And I started doing that when I got to Philly. And then when we're playing Dez, you're playing Pierre Garçon, you're playing D-Jack. That's all you need to look at. You know these guys are talented. You know they're going to get the ball. Yeah. You just have to make sure that your game plan is true and you're repping it during the week. And if you do that, I'm telling you, it's the craziest thing. I've seen guys that are not as athletic, corners that run a 4.6 like Richard Sherman. Yeah. But he knows the game so well that it don't matter who you put against him. He's going to strap him because he understands what they're trying to do. So it's all about the preparation. Just long story short, it's all about the preparation that you take and you take pride in from Monday all the way to Friday to get you ready for Saturday. And when you get to the league, it's from Sunday to Sunday, basically. And it's a whole year job. Like it's not week 3. I know we're playing the Giants and now I got to get ready for Odell. I got to get ready for him in April. I got to understand what what is he doing? All right, but he's 3 a.m. he's doing releases. Well, shit, I got to wake up at 5. I wake up at 5 and I got to get myself ready to play him because I'm going to play him. I'm going to see him. So I might as well get ready when he's getting ready so that when week 3 comes, it's just a clash of titans at that point. And we just see who the best man wins. And it all comes down to preparation.
I want to say something. I hope your nephew, right?
Yeah, nephew. Yeah.
I hope your nephew take that, and take that with wherever you go. He get off from Florida?
Not yet. We're working on that Gator.
All right.
Gators.
My boy's at Tennessee right now,
Bill.
though.
Come on, Bill.
Your boy
Defensive coordinator, Tim Banks.
Okay.
Yeah, he's there. So
Let's plug in.
Hey,
let's plug in.
Hey, Tim.
Coach Banks.
I know you watch the show.
Coach Banks, come on, Coach Banks.
Hey,
come on, Coach.
Yeah. I know you watch the show. Phoenix, I got your back, dog.
Hey, John Henderson, the Tennessee guy too. Hey, man, we've been tapping in with the Tennessee.
Big John.
Congrats. Big John just got in.
All right, we'll talk to y'all now.
Actually, before we go, I gotta thank him because he donated shoes to my big guys.
Big John?
Yeah, Big John.
Nice.
He donated cleats to a couple of my big guys. So I appreciate you, John. Thank you. I told him before, but tell him he's a good dude. Real
That's
good
great
dude.
guy.
Yeah.
Great
That's
guy.
love. I want to say this real quick, and I'm going to try to just make this as short as possible. Everybody know I can ramble a little bit, but I'm going to make this as quick as possible. For those that keep telling me that sports, specifically football, is a barbaric sport and it can't relate to life and y'all just do it, it's easy to do, whatever it is. If you take, hopefully you can rewind this, and you take what he just said, how he prepared for Odell, one person, and how he prepared for this man in the first 48 hours, how he prepared for him later in the week, how he overall prepared for him just basics-wise in April, right? And that's for every receiver. That's life, right? That is literally life in a nutshell.
I like that.
When I talk about transitioning these students from college to life, you don't start applying for jobs, internships, when you graduate.
Yep.
You don't start looking to network when you graduate. You start way before because it's imminent, right? It's imminent that you're going to face an Odell. It's imminent that you're going to face, Eli, Tom Brady, all these quarterbacks. It's imminent you're going to face these guys. And it's imminent that in life you are going to literally, face adversity. Mm-hmm. And you have to be prepared for that.
Exactly.
And I just had to say that because listening to it, I could have literally taken out a subject and put in another subject of, hey, look, you graduate in May. In February, you need to start understanding, what part of the country you want to live in. Mm-hmm. Start understanding what a family dynamic to you looks like, because that's super important in your transition. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Start understanding what the money that you do have, the money that you can make, what job that you have or what industry you're in, what kind of money that brings to you and your pockets or whatnot, and how to maximize that and have a 2 to 3 to 4 year plan of how to be able to, not fluctuate, but to grow and to keep growing. Mm-hmm. That's life. Exactly. Exactly. This game is teaching these young men how to live. And if you do it the right way, and you plan and you prepare the right way, like you said earlier, you're gonna be equipped with everything that you need. Mm-hmm. You just need to know what it looks like.
Exactly.
You just got to know what it looks like. So kudos to you for one, being able to articulate that. Because there's people that can't even articulate their day like that, let alone how to prepare for a task. You know what I'm saying? There's people that can't articulate, what they're about to do next, and so those folks are lost, a lot of them,
Right.
So.
Right.
So kudos to you for what you do and how you articulate that. I really want to bring up super quick. I know we got to go. How much time we got left?
We got about 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Your upbringing. Mm-hmm. You have a military upbringing.
Yes, I do.
How has that played a role? And are you from Clay County?
Yeah, I'm from Clay County.
You from Clay County? Yeah. Okay. I be telling people I'm scared of Clay County.
Why?
I don't park my car.
You said that earlier.
I don't park my car. My car does not stop in Clay County. In the Middleburg's part, it don't stop.
Middleburg, you back there then.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I done drove there a couple times.
I'm by the water.
See what I said?
You
I said if you by the water, you good.
Yeah, I'm by the water.
You start getting inland, man. The fences started getting 2.5 feet high. With 2 wooden. Yeah. All right. Anyway, but so how has your militant upbringing helped you in just life in general?
Yeah, it's discipline, focus, and being punctual. That's what my parents taught me. Just seeing them wake up at 5 a.m. every day, get me ready for school, get me out of bed. It's stuff like those little things I believe helped me in college and then greatly enhanced it when I was in the league because my parents didn't have to wake up that early and go to work. They could have worked anywhere else, but they chose to do this for 20 years. My mom did it 20 and my dad did it for 25 years. Wow. So seeing them every morning, as far back as I can remember, getting up early, I'm like, man, why are they getting up so early? Why are they going to work? Why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? I started understanding the way they're living their life is based on the things, the daily habits that they're doing every single day. And when I started learning how to be punctual, meaning being on time, not just being on time, but being ahead of time, being 10 minutes early, because that means you're on time, but if you're on time, that means you're late. So knowing that, and then also understanding the discipline aspect of what they have to do in the military, you have to get it right. Like you have to do it right every single day, because if you don't, somebody dies. And understanding that aspect of it, because my dad was in the Air Force, and when he would take us to work, we would see the pilots. We would see them getting ready to, on the Navy base, the Air Force base, which is right next to the airport. We would see all the things they would have to do to prepare just to fly the plane. I remember when there were two F-18s at the time. This is way back in the day. These two fighter jets were getting ready to fly over University of Florida for a game. And it's just a simple flyover. Right. But yet they're prepping, they're getting stuff ready just to fly for 20 minutes. Because it didn't take that long to get from Jacksonville to Gainesville and just fly back. And I'm just seeing all the stuff that they're preparing, and I'm hearing and I'm listening to them. Hey, make sure the gauge is right. Make sure this fuel tank is right. And make sure you got to pull this, whatever it is, off the plane, whatever they had to take out. But just hearing all those little things, I'm like, man, if it takes just much detail and emphasis and communication just to do a simple flyover, I can only imagine when they get ready to go into combat. And how intense they have to be, how attention to detail they had to be, how disciplined they had to be to make sure that everything was right. I saw that. And then also too, just with my mom being in the Navy, how her uniform always had to be pressed, how it always had to be white, how it always had to be clean every single day. And I'm just like, man, that's what it takes. That's really what it takes. Those little detailed things is what makes you have big results. And so when I got into the league,
don't miss that.
Yeah, I really don't remember what I just said.
Yeah.
I'll really rewind it. But
don't miss that.
Just understanding when I was in the league, I had to tell myself, all right, if meeting's at 7:30, I got to make sure I'm in the building by at least 5:45 so I can get in the hot tub, so I can watch some film, so I can go ahead and see the trainers if I have to get my body ready.
Way better than me, boy.
I was about to say, were you there?
Wait, that's a pro. That's a goddamn pro right there. I was never there at 5. Never. You won't see. That's probably why my shit ain't last that long. I was never there at 5, so I tell you that right now.
It took time, though, because I knew my body. And I knew that's part of the discipline aspect of if I wanted to stay on the field,
right,
there was just so many things that I had to do to get myself ready for practice. It wasn't even a game, just practice. So if this meeting was at 7:30, well, shoot, I got to get my body right, then get breakfast. And then if I can squeeze in another 10 minutes of film, that's just going to help me out. So the discipline aspect of that and just the hard work is really just hard work. There's nothing else to put after that. It's just hard work. And knowing that it's hard work allows you to do it with more, I guess I want to say joy, because you start understanding that the hard work that you are doing is going to reap the benefits. And there's other people that aren't doing the same thing. That's what you got to remind yourself is the thing that you are doing, nobody else is doing. No
matter what you do, when you that confident in your work, like when you put the work in, I saw Jalen Hurts said early this year, and I think in a practice, somebody was like, are you nervous? He's like, bro, I put the work
said
in.
It to him.
So was it Saquon?
Yeah.
He's like, bro, I put the work in.
Exactly.
When you put the work in, like I really, truly believe this podcast is about to be something special. And it's because we on the phone every day. Exactly. We're working, researching every single day, how to get better, what to do next. We literally have next season like almost planned out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so thorough that I have ultimate confidence. So I can only imagine, obviously, being, a military child and seeing that, when you put that work in every day, it's like, if you fail, it's like you can stand on your work.
Exactly. Exactly.
You can stand
and you can always learn. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Most people that don't put in the work and then they expect an immediate result, and they're always expecting a result after they fail and not trying to adjust what they need to, and you're not working to get better. Those are the people that fail. Yeah. But the ones that are constantly pushing themselves and learning from what they messed up on or had a mistake, that allows you to get better, because you're always going to outperform the person that's not willing to work. And if you do it continuously, no matter if you fail or not, people are going to laugh at you. They're going to point fingers. They're going to ridicule you. It doesn't matter, because eventually you're going to get it right, as opposed to the person that quits after the first time. And once you get it right, everybody's going to be like, damn, all right, yeah, he, I don't know how he did it, but he did it. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it's just going to be like clockwork. Everything that you do is going to have the results behind it, because you're so confident in the things that nobody saw you do. Like the podcast. Once this podcast gets big, people can be like, oh yeah, it just happened overnight. No, it didn't.
Not even
It took some time. It took late nights sleep. So people don't know that stuff.
Hello.
Exactly.
I'm glad. All right. So Nolan, I gotta keep it a buck Q&A.
Let's go.
Okay, got a few questions.
All right.
Okay, you can get in and out however you want to get in and out. We just asked.
Pause. God.
That was crazy. That really was. God damn.
Hey, yo.
That was wild.
Ouch,
That
man.
was wild.
It is what it is.
That was wild.
Dog.
Big pause. Damn, it's usually you.
Wow.
Damn, I'm on one
Nah,
today.
don't put me in there.
Yeah.
Damn. Anyway, back to it. Keep it a buck Q&A. All right.
All right.
We're gonna start it off with this. Top 5 wide receivers to guard.
In order or no?
It don't matter what order.
Okay.
Top 5.
Yeah, shoot, at the time, it was some dogs. I'll say Antonio Brown,
Wow.
Julio Jones,
Wow.
Calvin Johnson,
Wow.
Dez Bryant.
Wow.
I'll even put in Mike Williams.
Ooh.
I even put in Mike Williams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Honorable mention has to be, he was in San Diego at the time, Keenan Allen. But Keenan was young.
Young
oh
Keenan.
my God, Keenan
came out with me.
He did?
Yeah, we came out
Oh,
with
he
the same
killed
year.
me so nasty.
Keenan.
But he's still consistent. But he, like, those guys at the time, that stretch, there was nobody touching them, like, at all. 90, 100 receptions, 1,500 yards. It was just, that was the standard at the time. And I'm just like, damn. All right, I got Dez this week. Damn. I got AB. Damn.
Dog.
Hey, Coach, we need to double.
Yeah,
bringing that one double.
This one high safety look ain't it, Coach.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to win, Coach, we need to go
Eliminate him.
Coach, they went. Nah, you got to play man to man. It's like that. But they were the guys. So
Yeah. Okay. Who was your role model growing up?
my role model, my parents. My parents were my role models. They just, I saw what they did every day. I saw how they sacrificed for my brother, my sister, and myself. I saw how they sacrificed for me. When I went to Maryland, they went to every home game. Even when I was injured my senior, they went to every home game. So when I saw that, I was like, man, you guys in my book have my respect. Now, we clash from time to time, but I love them because I just saw they did it right. They never complained. They just always did it right. And that's how I try and model my life for my son as well, too.
Right.
Nice. This is a 2-part.
Okay.
Childhood celebrity crush and current celebrity crush.
Childhood had to been Christina Milian. Was it Love Don't Cost a Thing?
I ain't that old, though.
Okay.
What? That is true, though.
Yeah.
God,
Christina.
about 40.
Now?
Might be the same.
No, I saw this. What's her name? Shaughnessy, Jamaican chick. She's a singer.
Singer. I think I know you're talking about.
I don't know how her name. I just saw her. I was like, oh, okay. She's a Jamaican singer.
She used to date, was it Burning Man, something like that?
I think so. Yeah.
I know you're talking about. Yeah, she bad.
I'm Caribbean, so when I Caribbean, I'm like, all right, yeah.
Gotta have it. Right.
I have to. If I get a chance.
What's one word that best describes Nolan Carroll?
Endurance. That's the game of my life is just understanding. There have been times where I'm just like, man, I don't know how this is gonna work out. And I always tell myself, man, you just got to keep going. You just got to keep going. Right. One foot in front of the other, and really it's a marathon. It ain't a sprint, like Nipsey Hussle says. So whoever has endurance wins the race every single time.
Okay. Slim chick or thick chick?
Let's get into it.
Yes.
Let's get into it.
Slim. Okay. Slim.
Slim.
Okay.
Yeah, I like Slim.
Got to put them together.
Can you date a woman that makes more than you?
I could. Yeah, I could. I put my pride to the side.
Okay.
Yeah, I put my pride. I got my own money, so I'm good.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the one that say they can't. We're going to have a long discussion.
What's a turn off for you in regards to something that a female could do?
When a woman thinks she needs to be a man, meaning when she tells me this is what I make and this is what I do and this is what I provide. When you got to list things that you do, that tells me you're insecure. Like, you don't have to tell me all the things you do. Just show me what you're doing. And it's not a knock on women, but it's just what's out there now is women feel like they have to state what they are and who they are. And you don't have to do that. As a man, we don't have to do that. We just use our work as the results. And that's the same thing I say with women. And when we're in a world where it's like beauty all the time, women feel like they got to show this, show that. Well, when beauty's not enough, what else do you go to? You start saying, I do this, I do that. And you don't have to get into that stuff as a woman. If you're confident in who you are, men can tell. Like, you just have it on you. So I say anytime a woman starts telling me those things, I'm just like, all right, peace, I'm out. That's just what it is. Because you ain't got to
I can't do nothing for you.
I mean, I could, but it get to the point where we start competing because you're telling me how good you are and I already know how good I am, but you keep telling me this. It's like, all right, look, I'm going to go somewhere else.
And essentially, I can't do nothing for you. I'm telling you, it's going to get to a point. It's going to get to a point where I can't do nothing for you.
Exactly.
Are you single?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I had to think about it for a second. It's only because with what I'm doing, and I bring this back to the purpose of God. God has told me what I need to do, and understanding what I need to do, there's no real place for somebody in my life to come in and me commit to them fully. It's not because I don't want somebody.
Right.
It's because understanding I have to be diligent with what God assigned me to do. And I'm going to do it 100% like I was when I played football. And I noticed when I was playing football, I couldn't be fully immersed with football and have a relationship. Just two don't coexist. It's something people think balance is the thing, and there's no such thing as balance. It's only the thing that you put attention to. So when my job is done with this school, and I know it's going to get to a certain point where it's going to be like that, because I'm not going to be doing this for 80 years or 60 years. I know there's going to be a point where God's going to tell me, you did a good job.
Right.
Now this is what I need you to do next. But as of right now, I got a job to do. And once I do it and I complete it, then I can start thinking about that.
Gotcha.
Ladies, lock in. Comment below if you're looking for a guy like Nolan. What does the ideal woman look like to Nolan Carroll?
Looks or just
overall, if you was to dress it up, personality to the T, what does that look like?
I'd say she's got to be pretty. Fair skin. I say fair skin, smooth skin, light skin I would prefer. She's a woman, she's just on her stuff. Like she's real focused on what she needs to do and how she needs to make herself better. It's not necessarily about saying you have these things, but making yourself a better person. And ultimately, if you want to become a wife, what things are you doing to make sure that you're making yourself a wife? Not just having it by title, but understanding what that title truly means. Are you going to sacrifice? Are you going to submit? Are you going to be able to pick up the slack when the man can't? Like those things, a lot of women aren't willing to do. Not because they don't want to do it, just because they never really gone through it to show themselves how to do it. It's always what everybody else says on Instagram. And that's the problem. Big problem. I can't get into that. But it's just more of they have to work on themselves. Yeah. They have to work on themselves and understand if I want to become a wife, these are the things that I need to do. And the best thing to do is go and talk to older people that are in a marriage for 50 years, 60 years. Go and get some experience. Go back to your family, go to your grandparents and find out what things they've been doing and try and model some of those in this modern day era now so that you can become that wife that you want to be. And hopefully one day I find her. But until then, ladies, work on yourself, and then hopefully we meet up.
Big work, getting that craft, 5 a.m. Get up, get into it.
Yeah.
Now, some of the brown skin and dark skin women might feel away. Now, is that counting them out, or was that just more of a preference? Like
preference? I mean, I've dated dark skin, I've dated high yellow. I mean, I've dated white, dated everything.
So color ain't a thing to you?
Not really. My thing is personality. If me understanding that if I needed help, meaning because it was 2 years ago. 2 years ago, my appendix blew. And I had no idea for 3 days. I did not know at all.
What did it feel like? Just in case I might have felt this.
Pause. God damn.
Appendix blow? You just trying to
what
get back.
What did it feel like? It's crazy.
What did it feel like when your appendix blew, bruh? Nah, you trying to get back.
Yeah, we're going to slow this down, bro. Asking my man what it felt like. It's crazy.
Oh, God. It felt like you were constipated a little bit. But your stomach, it just always felt like there's a throbbing there. And I didn't know what was going on. I just felt like, I got to be constipated or something, but nothing was happening. Then I remember going to the hospital and they're like, yeah, you got to have surgery in the next 20 minutes. I'm like, oh, okay, bet. And after the surgery, got out, I'm in the hospital for a week and I'm just thinking to myself, if I had other things going on and I needed my woman to hold it down for me for a week, would she be able to? And that's when I started thinking, what type of woman do I want in my life that's going to be able to do that if this happens to me again, or just say something, I'm no longer on this earth. Are you going to be able to take care of my son? Are you going to be able to take care of the things I need you to take care of, not financially, but if I have other endeavors that I'm still involved in, but I'm not around anymore, are you going to pick up the slack? And I use the example of Kobe Bryant's wife. When Kobe passed away, she's still a representation of him. She's still doing things that it feels like he's there because she's representing him so well.
Shout out to her. That's a fact.
I look at it from that perspective. If I'm lucky enough to get a woman that's able to do that when I am gone, I mean, that's why you build a legacy. That's why you become that person that you want to be and have a wife that's like that, because if she needs to pick up the slack for you, you have 100% confidence she'll be able to do it.
You get that confidence when y'all build.
Yeah. Exactly.
When you build together.
Exactly. The key word is together, not separate. They come together.
Togetherness.
Hello.
Last question. What's one thing you would love to do before you leave this earth?
One thing I would love to do. I mean, I'm doing it now. Raising my son. I mean, when you really look at it and you think about all the things you want to accomplish, I've done it at such a young age. just looking back, and you remind yourself there's so much more that you can do. But the most important thing is understanding, giving the experience to your son, giving him the lessons that he can experience it 10 times better than you experienced it. Because the one thing I do know is my dad gave me so many lessons that I was able to use in the locker room and outside the field that it made everything better. And he's never been jealous of me. He's never been mad at me. I mean, he's been pissed off at me before, but as far as like, there's never been any jealousy, any envy. It's always been like, son, I want you to be better than me.
Right.
I did these things so you could live a better life. And that's what I want to do for my son. I'm doing the things I need to so my son could have a better life. And hopefully we'll see. He wants to go to the NFL. But if he does do that, I would at least like to get him to the point where dad got drafted in the 5th round. You're a 1st round pick.
Right.
And I'll be celebrating just like, I'll never be like, oh man, my son was 1st round. I should have been 1st round back in the day. It would be.
Yeah.
I would celebrate him like, you're the first one in our family that got drafted. And that's what I want to be able to teach, is let my son know that dad is here for you. Dad is going to give you everything that you need. Dad has worked his butt off to make sure he's provided for you. And all I want you to do is just live life and grow and learn from me and give it back. Give it back to your community. Give it back to the players that you want to motivate. Make sure you help your mother out as well. And when you have kids of your own, do the same thing. It's a repeat cycle, and it's a successful cycle if I'm able to do it right. And I think I am, but I'm living it right now. So I thank God every day that I get this opportunity to be a dad, because I never would have thought when I was playing I'd be in this position to be able to do that for him and provide for him like that.
How old is he?
He's 11. Well, he's going to be 11 next month.
Okay.
So in a couple of weeks.
And so I can already tell, because, we sound alike, pretty similar when it comes to I got a 14-year-old and a 5-year-old, and I'm constantly having conversations with them. So you probably already had these conversations with them. But at the end of the day, what we usually do at the end of the show is we have you look in this camera, and I usually tell people to talk to your child. And I know you do already. So maybe you can even channel some of that to him, but then channel some of that to your younger self. And a lot of these transitions you've gone through have been eye-opening, but they've also been the reason you're where you are today. Mm-hmm. But if we can help it, like you just said, we would like to remove some of those imminent, issues that our kids are going to go through. Yeah. We like to remove some of them if we can. So I'd like you to, if you would, look in this camera and give a word of advice in regards to transitional development on what your younger self is going to go through, and then, but ultimately what your 11-year-old is going to end up going through, and how to best it all.
Yeah. If I were to talk to my son or my younger self, I would just say, live in the moment. Live in the moment, embrace the moment, be happy with the moment. Not everything is going to go your way, but always enjoy it, whether it's good or it's bad, because something is going to teach you a lesson that's going to allow you to be better than what you used to be. And if you're always looking at what you used to be and always what you used to have, you'll never grow. You need to look at your yesterday self and say, you're going to be better today than you were yesterday. And then when the next day comes, you're going to be better today than you were yesterday. And it's just a combination of days that just stack. And then when you look back, you're proud of what you've done, and never look back in shame, never look back in anguish, never look back in regret. If you leave everything on the table, if you do everything that you're supposed to do when somebody's looking or when they're not, you can always be proud of yourself, of the body of work that you put in, on or off the field, if you are playing or business or whatever it is. But always be prideful in your work. If you're always prideful in your work, you'll always be successful. You always attain what you want to attain. And never let people tell you no. Never let people tell you you can't. Never let people hinder your abilities. You believe in yourself. And if you believe in yourself, you can do whatever you want to. And you just work hard. And if you continue to work hard, you can have anything you want.
Done deal. Nolan, I appreciate you. We appreciate you stopping
appreciate
by,
having
man.
me on, guys.
That was awesome. Jay, you got anything?
Hey, man, appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, bro. Yes,
that was
sir.
big
yes,
time.
Sir.
And I promise, a buck was kept. Y'all be good.